Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we are looking at the new performance module for the MyListing Pro plugin. If you have yet to see the introduction video for MyListing Pro, I highly recommend you check it out to understand the exciting features as well as the community that surrounds this plugin. What we're going to do in this video is look at the details for the performance module and then look at how this helps a real MyListing website. All right, so from the MyListing Club website, that's mylisting.club. Right here on the homepage under MyListing Pro, you can click on Explore Features, or from the header navigation area, you can click on the MyListing Pro menu item. You're then going to look for the performance card and click into that. Performance. This module contains useful performance optimizations for the MyListing WordPress theme. This is setting the stage for future performance enhancements. So even though you just see a couple of enhancements here now, there's going to be more to come. So this is just, like I said, laying the groundwork. So you're going to be able to, out of the box, enable system fonts across your entire website. Or you can just disable the MyListing font. Those are kind of similar, but they do two different things. And then the request features, as soon as you purchase MyListing Pro, you are immediately and automatically added to the private spaces in the new Pro community where you can request features and help shape this plugin, as well as help push the MyListing theme forward. You can also ask support questions or just have general discussions. The Pro community is free to access for the general public. It's just the private MyListing Pro spaces are there for MyListing Pro customers. All right, scrolling on down, we can go in and talk about each of these modules a little more in depth. Like I said, there's going to be more to come. Enable system fonts. Applies the system font stack across your entire website. Prevents MyListing's default font, which is Glacial Indifference. Prevents that style sheet from loading at all. Prevents all preload requests for MyListing's default font, and prevents Elementor from loading Google Fonts on the front end. So in the past, this was done with a guide that I wrote. The guide is still there, but it's been completely revamped and modernized, simplified to go along with the MyListing Pro plugin. But in the past, we used to have, to edit files. We used to have to put in a code snippet. Those days are over because of MyListing Pro. So if you want to implement system fonts across your entire website with the click of a button, that's what MyListing Pro is going to do for you. I use system fonts on pretty much all of my own personal websites because system fonts look really good. And on top of that, they are the most performant font you can have on your site. Special note here, per widget Elementor font choices still override this modules. So this is a pro tip. If you are going into individual Elementor widgets, let's say, for example, like the heading widget, and you are manually assigning a typography settings, like a specific font to those widgets, you should stop doing that immediately. You should be assigning your fonts globally, not going into each individual widget. If you are doing that, this module cannot override that. The module, the widget, Elementor widgets, individual widgets take precedence over everything else. That's why it's so important you don't set settings on those. You should be doing it globally, not per widget. So that's like an easy way to do system fonts across your entire site, like I said, with a click of a button. But what if you just want to disable the MyListing font from preloading? So maybe you want to use system fonts in certain areas, but you also want to use custom fonts, maybe even Google fonts. But you want to stop that Elementor font from preloading to help the performance of your site. Because even if you go and you set system fonts, or you set a custom font or a Google font, MyListing is still going to continue to load its default font, which is hurting your performance big time. I'm going to show you that here in a bit. All right, how do we configure this module? Simply enable it and then configure what you need. You're going to see that here in a second. How are the disable MyListing font and system font modules different? We just explained that. Can we see this on a live MyListing website? No, this is a back-end solution. So there's nothing to see on the front end, but you're watching this video, you're going to see what this does. What happens if we disable this module or uninstall MyListing Pro? Just like any WordPress plugin that you disable or uninstall, you lose the features it provides. MyListing Pro does not edit your theme or website files. It's a layer that sits on top of your website, providing enhancements and fixes. Do you offer free support? Yes. As soon as you get into the MyListing Pro community, you can start asking for support. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Let's first look at the problem. So here we are on a MyListing website. It's nothing has been done. Like there's no system fonts activated. There's nothing done on the Elementor side of things. It's just, think of it like a new site. So if you come over here and you inspect the page, just right click on the page, go to inspect. Whatever browser you use, look for the network tab. Okay, I'm using Microsoft Edge here, so it looks like this little wireless icon. Go ahead and click on that and then reload your page. Once the page reloads, scroll all the way back to the top. I'll also mention that you can use like a web page performance tool like webpagetest.org or GTmetrix, anything that's going to show you what's called the waterfall. That's what we're looking at here. But here's the problem. So you see how we scrolled all the way back to the top of the waterfall. This is where the problem lies. Your domain will always be at the top, but look what appears second, third, and fourth. It's the MyListing fonts. These are loading even though we don't want them to load. Okay. And whether I go implement system fonts or my own custom font or a Google font, these are going to continue to load. What's even worse is these are preloaded. So that means nothing on your web page, this page right here, for example, this home page, nothing on this page can load until MyListing's fonts are loaded. That is a terrible way to implement fonts. They are assuming that everyone is going to want to use these fonts, which is terrible practice. So we're going to make that stop. We're going to come over here. We're going to go into the MyListing Pro dashboard. We're going to click on the performance tab. Once you enable the module, the page will reload and you're going to have two options. We went through these options. So I like to, on my site, I use system fonts across the board for performance reasons. So I'm going to turn that on, click save. Let's refresh the page. If you look at this page, look how the design looks. You see, it still looks great. All right. Now let's go over here into the network tab. Let's scroll all the way to the top. Those fonts are gone. Just that simple. All right. Like I said, if you don't want to use system fonts across your entire website, you can simply come over here, toggle this one on instead, disable the MyListing font, and then you go do your thing with your fonts, whether it's a mix of system fonts and custom fonts and Google fonts, or just all Google fonts, whatever you want to do, but get that MyListing font out of there. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh the page. Scroll to the top, those fonts are gone. All right, so you have two options here depending on what you want to do. And like I said, this is just the beginning of what we're going to do in this performance module with MyListing Pro. That's why it's super important. Get into the community, start requesting your features. Let's take the plugin, keep pushing the plugin. Let's keep pushing the theme forward. Perhaps if the theme developers see what we're doing here, it lights a fire under them to do more to help us out. And yeah, MyListing Pro is going to make all of our lives easier. It's already doing that for my customers and clients. All right. I also want to mention real quick that MyListing Pro is included with all starter sites. You get all of the features right out of the box. You only need to purchase a license when you're ready to get support, updates to the plugin, and be a part of those pro community private spaces. All right. See you all in the next video.